I'm Patricia with Senior Connections Center, and welcome to Countdown to World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Joining us today is Major Davis with the Hardee County Sheriff's Office. Major Davis, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, ma'am. It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor for us to have you here.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been with the Hardee County Sheriff's Office?
I've been here going on 25 years.
That's a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you start your law enforcement career elsewhere, or have you always been with Hardee County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am. I started in corrections. I started in the state prison and then went to the police department and then went to the county and been here pretty much ever since.
Wow.
So
that's great.
Almost 29 years total.
Now, with World Elder Abuse Awareness Day coming up on June 15th, we are wanting to let people know about some of the different scams and frauds that are out there where they can protect themselves a little better. So what are some of the current scams and frauds that the Hardee County Sheriff's Office receives complaints about?
Well, actually, the most current, I'll start with the most current, and it just happened to me, actually. I was friended on Facebook with someone that had what was later found to be a fraudulent Facebook. They had created a fake Facebook page, and the lady's profile showed her as being a Bowling Green resident, and the name kind of didn't match the face, but you know, I accepted them, and you know, we had a little small talk on Messenger, and they asked me all of a sudden, "Have you heard the great news?" And I said, "Well, that depends." And they said, "Well, the money that the government's given on COVID-19, if you suffered any losses." So I said, "No, I haven't heard that." And she said, "Well, if you will go to this and give me a link to click on my computer, and that you can get up to $50,000 per person on this link." Well, just as soon as I told her I didn't want to do it, she come back with why. And, and then got kind of real huffy with me. Mm-hmm. And I immediately unfriended her and blocked her because I knew it was a scam. And that's something that when any time that someone starts pushing you on the computer and starts asking these pushy questions and this type of things, that's normally a scam. So that's the newest one. Is the newest one we've seen was the COVID-19. There's another one. I had a friend of mine call me just yesterday, and he said that he received a phone call from a gentleman in Fort Myers that said one of his really good friends, and he actually knew the person's, my buddy's friend, who was a really good friend of his, and said that he had been put in jail and he needed to be bonded out. Well, he said, "Here, I'm going to let you talk to his attorney." And he said, well, it just floored him because this is a great friend of his. And he said he never could have done nothing, got put in jail. So he puts the lawyer on the phone and he talks to him and almost has this elderly gentleman convinced that he needed to send $14,000 to bond his friend out. So he thought about it and he thought, well, I'll call first. And that's a smart idea, is to call first to make sure and confirm something such as this. Well, then the friend wouldn't answer the phone. And he called 2 or 3 times. He said, my friend always answers the phone. And so something must really be wrong. So he almost was going to send the money. And I was so glad. I told him, I said, I'm so glad you didn't. Please, anytime you have something like this, never, ever, ever send money from the phone. Call the sheriff's office. I told him if he didn't get a hold of his friend by the end of that day to please call me, and I would send a message to their dispatch, and we'd find out if he was actually arrested, and get him that good information. But that's just one of the other scams, and they can do all the research on you, and they can determine that they can see that you have family or friends, people who's connected to you,
Mhm.
and then they'll use their name to make you believe, and they can get all kinds of information about them to make you believe it's real. So, and
Mhm.
really convince you that, hey, something's wrong here.
And
So,
I think your comments show that anybody could be a potential victim,
absolutely.
and that we all should check out information and call the sheriff's office. A lot of people
Exactly.
hesitate, but call the local law enforcement and they can help you with that. It's also unfortunate that in the midst of such a national and global tragedy with the pandemic of COVID-19, that people are using that as a way to scam people.
Well, that's the point of the scam artist, is to get people when they're most vulnerable.
Mm.
People are scared and they don't know what to do, and that's when they will increase their their ability. They will try harder because they know people are scared. And so there's a lot of scams that we're seeing. There's an IRS scam where they call you and tell you that you owe taxes, or that your agent, they can find out who filed your taxes, and through the internet, and they say
Mhm.
your agent made a mistake, and that you owe an additional $500, and if you don't mail that to you, you're going to jail. For tax evasion, which that's never the truth. IRS will never call you. They will send you letters. Um, the police will never call you and tell you you have to come bond somebody out. You
Right.
know, normally if it's by phone, it's going to be a scam. And that's one of the biggest things I want to get across, is to never send money after you've talked to someone on the phone without, making sure you confirm the information, and talk to your friends, and have it confirmed by law enforcement, because normally it's a scam.
Mhm.
So,
Are there other ways that you could mention that individuals, particularly seniors, could protect themselves a little more?
well, a few. Um, Again, like I said, know who you're talking to, confirm who you're talking to. Do a little research. Don't just, a lot of times somebody will upset you pretty quick, and I know at times I jump to conclusions on stuff, but make sure you back off and think about it and confirm what you're about to do, and double check, and never send money based on a phone call without confirming the source. Get a caller ID, because a lot of times, now there's this thing called spoofing, where people can
Mhm.
actually, they can, for instance, spoof my number, and if you're a friend of mine, it'll come from Eddie Davis from his cell phone number, and your caller ID will say Eddie Davis, and this person will be on there saying Eddie Davis was arrested and he needs you to come bond him out, or call this number to bond him out. Well, that's never,
Mhm.
again, it goes back to never send money via phone call or without confirming, and know that you know.
Absolutely.
And if
Makes
you're in
sense.
doubt, call the sheriff's office or your local agency, and talk to someone and file a report, and they will, most likely they've heard already. The officers and
Mhm.
law enforcement has already heard um, the scam that somebody's trying to get you on.
Mhm. They're definitely not the first victim or potential
Absolutely,
victim. And a
absolutely
lot
not.
of people don't report because of embarrassment, but there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
A lot of times we have found that this caller is actually not even. It may have an 863 area code.
Mhm.
You think, okay, well, they're here in Wauchula or Hardee County, but they can be in I'm sorry, they can be in Panama. They can be in another country,
Right.
Venezuela. They can be anywhere, and and law enforcement can't track that. We can't
Right.
track across county lines, and we or country across state lines. So or country lines, I would say. But so.
So if someone does feel like they're the potential victim of a scam, or if they've been the victim of a scam, what is the number that they should call?
Well, I would. Okay, we have several numbers here at the sheriff's office, and the best way I could explain that is everyone knows 911. 911 And you can think about it, is this an emergency? Is this something that's life or death, that somebody's breaking into my home, somebody's kicking on my door, somebody's choking, somebody's drowning, somebody's, something that's a life-threatening emergency? That's when you call 911. Okay, on a call such as a scam, you would call our 773-4144. And that's area code 863. And that's a recorded line that goes straight into dispatch. That's our non-emergency line.
Non-emergency number.
Okay. And that would be in a case you have let's say somebody, you want to report a theft. Somebody stole your mailbox, or somebody run over your mailbox, or you saw a car speed by your neighborhood, speeding down your road, or you saw some, something suspicious or something like that. That's what you would do. Something happened are you seeing the computer screen?
No.
Okay. Maybe it's on my end. But yes, that 4144 number would be something if you just need to report a crime that's not in progress or something that's not an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have so let's say if you wanted to get a hold of me, just to talk to me, you would call in our 863-773-0304, and then you would get the automated operator, and you can either hit 0 for the operator, or if you knew my extension, 209, you could just hit the business card when we work
We had a bit of a technical difficulty there for our first time out in our Zoom interviews. But Major Davis, would you reiterate the non-emergency number for the Sheriff's Office?
Okay, our non-emergency number is 863-773-4144. And this number is a recorded line into Central Dispatch. And it's for reporting something such as a theft that's not in progress, or something that's not in progress. If you had something stolen, or want to report a speeding vehicle down your road or something like that, that's the number you would call in for a not in progress or non-life-threatening call. Then we've also have a third number I want to give you, and it's the 863-773-0304. And if you don't know the extension of the person, I believe there's an automated dial by last name alphabetical directory, or you can just hit 0 and that'll take you right into Central Dispatch or to our operator during 8 to 5, and they will, Monday through Friday, and they will direct you to where you need to go if you need to speak to a specific person. So,
thank you again, Major Davis, for joining us. And a reminder to everyone that World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is June 15, and we'll be counting down to World Elder Abuse Awareness Day each day until then, and then join us for a big event via Zoom. Check our Facebook page for information on that event. Thank you again, Major Davis.
yes, ma'am, my pleasure. Thank you. Goodbye.